In this lecture, you're going to learn how to select HTML elements in CSS. So I'm going to copy and paste this element twice. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of these two elements here, the top ones. Okay, and I'm going to target the first element here. So to select this HTML element in CSS, we have to add a class. So I'm going to add first selector. Let's go to our CSS file. Let's get rid of this here. We're going to start with by adding a dot here, and then first selector, and then our curly brackets. Now, by starting with a dot here, you're basically telling CSS that this is a class. Otherwise, if you don't add it, then CSS won't do anything. Whatever you specify in this rule set, it won't work. So I'm just gonna add a font size, and I'm going to I'm gonna put 50 pixels. Okay, now save it and save the HTML file and then your CSS file. Let's refresh this page. Okay, you can see the first element that we targeted, the font size has been changed now. Let's go back to our HTML file, and now let's target our second element here. And in this case, I'm going to add an ID, and I'm going to say second selector. Now the same rules applies to any attribute value. Okay, so let's go to our CSS file. Now we're going to select the second element with the ID. We're going to start with the pound sign and then second selector. And we basically do the same thing. You see the differences here? This is an ID selector, okay? And this is a class selector. Now, on this one, I'm gonna add some space to those words. So, I'm gonna specify it this way. Let me see, I can barely see it. Okay, letter, spacing, and then one, REN. Now let's save it. Let's check it out here. And you can see the second element has been affected. Okay, this is by selecting the ID. Now let's go back to our HTML file. Now we're gonna target our last element here. Okay, and this is a little different than the other ones. Okay, so I'm gonna add a class again, and I'm gonna put third selector, third selector. Now let's go back to our CSS file, and we're gonna add div because that's the tag name of our element here, right? So we're gonna add, the first thing we're gonna add is the div, and then square brackets, and inside those square brackets I'm gonna put the class attribute and the value, which was the third, I believe, the third selector. Yeah, third selector. And then the curly brackets. On this one, I'm going to add a background color, yellow. And this is another way to select HTML elements. So let's go back, let's save it, and let's go to our browser and let's refresh the page. And there you have it. A background color has been added to it. Okay, so in the next lecture, I'm going to show you the most common properties and property values used in CSS.